Thank you, Lás Cearlach. Minister, when I think back, hindsight is a beautiful thing when you think about it. In 2017, 2018, when Leo Varadkar, and I tend not to be too party political in the Senate, but Leo Varadkar really championed this issue when there was a chorus of people telling him that it was too much, it was too expensive, it was too ambitious, it wasn't going to happen, would we not be better focusing and diverting attentions elsewhere? And because of a pandemic that has crossed right across the world, it's proven to be a very smart idea. And I would just like to put on the record that Taoiseach Varadkar really championed this issue from the very get-go. And now we see how important it is that we are where we are today because of something that no one foresaw coming along. When you consider it now where we are with remote working, by having broadband in the most far-flung rural places of this country, it's putting everyone on an even keel. And this country and its development of infrastructure over the last 20 to 30 to 40 years has been very either large city-centric or large provincial town-centric. And finally now we're able to put in infrastructure into rural Ireland to put them on the same level playing field, that they can either access education, that they can do their online banking, that they can now work from home at the same level as anybody else. And I think it's that level of equality and ensuring there's equilibrium between urban and rural Ireland is one of the most important things about rural broadband and why I very much welcome it. The other point about it is where, and it's not just necessarily about working from home, but it's with the provision and the real push towards ensuring that we have remote working hubs in rural villages. So what's even good about that is you're taking previously derelict or vacant buildings, you're now repurposing those. You have people coming into rural areas who are coming into the village, 10 or 15 people are working away in it. That's an income then as well for everyone else within that village, whether it's the shop, whether it's the butchers, whether it's whatever. When people are coming into those areas, they're spending money in those localities as well, and that's a result of bringing of strong broadband provision in these areas. When I think the history really of this time of infrastructure will be written, it really will be very I think very strong comparisons will be shown with the electrification of rural Ireland. The Shannon scheme started in 1929. The very last rural areas electrified were in 1964. It was a 30-year process. Make no mistake about it, the infrastructure project we are embarking here is of the absolute same colossal significance as rural electrification was. It's the exact same thing. Back then, naturally, it took over 30 years. We're hoping to do it in a much shorter time frame. When I look at my own part of the world with the NBI in County Louth, I have to, and Senator Dooley mentioned it there, I have to really compliment the NBI in terms of their ability to communicate. They're very good communicators. You can log on online and you can literally down to the very townland, to a couple of fields, a small townland, you can see roughly when that is due to come along. And that provides people with a lot of peace of mind because they can say, well, look, do you know what, I can put up with it for another 6 months or I can put up with it for another year. Because you can only begin to imagine the sheer frustration for someone when someone could be getting towards a deadline, a work project, whatever it is, and the internet is just dropping on you, or it's not at the same speed as someone 20 miles down the road in an urban town. It must be absolutely infuriating. And in terms of broadband, if you want to think about it, people living in rural areas a lot of the time can be treated as second-class citizens in terms of broadband because they don't have the same level of equality or access to it. The point was mentioned earlier that we have moved so much more online in every aspect of our lives. Like there's very few aspects of people's lives today that isn't done online, and that's why this is so important that this is going to be rolled out into every single corner, parish and rural area of this country, and that's the big reason why this whole project is so vitally important.